Today on NerdOut, Scalus. Welcome back to NerdOut, the show where we take a look at Cardano and we break it down, but we don't dumb it down. Today we've got some very special guests from the Lanter team. I'd like to add to the stage Alex and Alexei from Lanter.
Hi, Andrew.
Welcome,
Hi,
guys.
everybody.
Yeah,
Thanks for inviting.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your background before we get started. Kind of like, how did you guys meet? How did you start the company Lanter? And then we'll kind of get into what is Scalus and what does it mean for Cardano and all that good stuff.
Awesome. I'll start. I used to work for IOG. I've been interested in blockchain technology from a very long time. I used to work for banks like UBS and Deutsche Bank. And during that time, I seen Bitcoin happening and Ethereum happening. And then I saw the whiteboard video and I thought that's a way to go. And eventually I joined IOG. I worked on Marlow. At that moment, that was probably the largest and one of the few smart contracts written in Bluetooth and in Haskell at that moment. And then I quit and decided to start own company and founded Lanter, and Alexei joined a bit later. And he's a friend of mine from old times. We used to live in the same city. We used to work back in the student years. We used to work in the same small company.
That's awesome.
So, and we met in Paris and spoke about potentially doing things together, and decided to actually do it. And since then, we're working together at Lanter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
I'm an engineer too, and like that was actually like my passion of mine. But at some point of time, I like moved more in kind of management line, and my past experience was in building and scaling startups and scale-ups.
Okay.
So when we met with Alex, what was interesting is that we figure out that we have this really interesting values bond, but also have very complementary skills. So I think that the joy of working together is actually coming from those two things.
absolutely.
Very cool. So let's get into the tech side of things, because that's what everybody on this channel likes. So you guys are the creators of Scalus. Tell us a little bit about Scalus, and we're going to add your presentation up to the screen. I'm just going to let you kind of run through it, and I'll ask questions as you guys kind of tell the community what this is all about. I've known about it for a very long time, but I don't know that it's had as much visibility in the community as it probably needs to have. So I'm so happy you guys are on the program to kind of bring it up to the level of visibility in the community that it needs.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe before we go into Scalus, I wanted to say a couple of words about our company, and we're kind of trying to bring the future where we can use Cardano as default financial operating system. So we're focusing on three things. One of them is building the development platform to improve development experience. Second thing is we're working on scalability and interoperability, all what is L2 and various bridges to Bitcoin and other blockchains. And we are working on various financial like components for financial applications and building the products. So we're positioning ourselves as a product company. And our mission with Scalus is to accelerate business and technological innovation on Cardano, and we believe that reducing dev complexity and like making things simpler and faster will actually lead to that. we have the slide like which brings a bit like an overview of the ecosystem, and I'll let Alex present.
Yeah, so that's the essentially the state of the art. And previously, like initially, it was Plinth. So I actually liked the idea behind Plinth. So you have a framework that allows you to write full decentralized, full the app using one framework, one language. It should be easy and simple and fast to deliver. So I like the idea, but the dev experience, this compile, test, deploy, iterate cycle, I was not satisfied. Let's say. So I had this thinking that so other infrastructures like Ethereum, they went with this. You have separate language, you have like a separate, and you choose the front end, back end technologies. And now we have the similar approach with Aiken, and then you can do whatever you like on your off chain. But I still like this idea of this full stack applications written in one platform. And I thought that there is an alternative to Haskell would be Scala as a like a sort of a middle ground that it is a powerful language. It's type safe. It has all the features required to compile Scala, for example, to UPLC. It's a functional language. It has the ability to have compiler plugins, macros, powerful type system again, and also it runs on JVM.
Right.
That's
So you
really
get
important.
all of those libraries that the Java community has made over the past 20 years, and you
Absolutely.
could utilize them. Yeah, no, that's super
Absolutely.
powerful.
And coming from financial industry, I saw it absolutely dominated by JVM languages, being Java, Scala as well. I did Scala in Deutsche Bank. So that was the initial idea to make something full stack, like development platform. It's not only like a smart contract language or just a transaction builder or something like that. Full platform that you can write full applications in one language in one project. So that's the and use the JVM.
Very cool.
And so so that's basically what Scala is. It allows you to write the full application and has components for writing smart contracts. We've implemented the CK machines. We can run Bluetooth V1, V2, V3. We can calculate costs for execution.
Right. That's really interesting to me because, like, at Noom currently, we do all of those smart contract cost calculations by sending them out to Ogmios, because Ogmios, is Haskell. It runs the Haskell cost calculations over there. But with this tool, we could actually suck those right into our own platform, so we could calculate those costs.
Absolutely, because it's JVM. As a library, you can just use it from Kotlin or for Java. It's just another Java library in a sense. Another cool feature is that Scala compiles to JavaScript using Scala.js, and we actually are able to compile all this logic, CKL machine, all that stuff. It compiles to JavaScript, and we can run and execute and calculate costs on JavaScript as well.
That's incredible.
We just recently closed the Catalyst project for building multi-platform library for doing exactly this. So it works on JVM, JavaScript, and also on native. It's a native library. It can actually compile to LLVM as well. So that's another possibility. That's for smart contracts. For off-chain code, we are working on transaction builder. We have all the ledger classes with support serialization, all that stuff, again, compiled to JavaScript as well, so potentially can be used from front end.
And we have
also,
as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries. And for business logic, again, you can leverage Scala asynchronous and concurrent programming frameworks like Zio, Cats effects, or just using Java Project Loom. You could just use virtual threads of modern Java. which is essentially like how Go coroutines work. Similar thing. Yeah. So that's in a nutshell. Essentially, we have a starter project that shows you an example application that has it all. It has smart contracts, it has backend, it has REST API, it has a transaction building logic. So you start up and you have the application work.
Right. It's a very good developer experience because it's just a one thing. It's all there, and you just use it and kind of follow. It's more of an opinionated system, I would imagine, where it's like, here is what we think is the right way to build a Cardano dApp. If you do it this way, you will have less pain. Is that pretty accurate?
That
Yeah,
is pretty accurate.
at times we're like thinking about how to illustrate what actually businesses get from the platform. So you can imagine it by kind of let's say we have a startup and they want to build an escrow service or escrow-like service. Like we were recently speaking about the Intersect contract for storing the budget withdrawals, and they built the escrow platform. So you have this business, you have a couple of ideas how you can be different from others. So what you can do with Scalus, you can download Starter Kit, which will have all of those components already available there. And what we have in our budget proposal is that we will cover 21 most common use cases, like HTLC or payment splitter and escrow. So what business can get is just by writing like Scalus 3 escrow, they will receive a full application already with escrow smart contract built with transactions which interact with it with the backend service and with a full like test coverage and stuff. So like in one command, they can kickstart the development, having everything in one project. And what's important for businesses is that you actually start fast and you can start iterating on top of it. So by having everything all together, you can have this kind of basic template and example. You can just start building elements on top of it and like realize and show your ideas.
Yeah, that's really powerful for a developer experience to have that ability to just jump in right away, see something work, even if it's not your idea, and then just start tweaking it from that point on. It becomes very powerful, I think.
Yeah, and it's one of the, I think, common feedbacks that we receive, we speak about in communities, that there are so many different libraries and so many different stuff that you need to know or be aware of to start building on Cardano, that's reducing. And since it's as well, like you have this learning curve to learn UTXO and Cardano like model, at least we can reduce this part where you don't need to think about tooling, even though all those tools, magical tools like Aiken, Palas, Dolos exist, and Lucid Evolution, for example, and stuff. Our approach is to simplify everything, like putting all of those things together in one package, so you can start and then iterate very fast.
Excellent.
Yeah, and we actually have an example of it working. So we've got the grants for Scalus development through Catalyst, and developed it in a like to the point where it is usable. So, and we decided to check if people would like to use it, and we did like a couple presentations, a couple demos to our primary clients, our businesses and R&D labs as well, like ours, that develop protocols. So we demoed the project to Anastasia, and we've got a project. They chose Scalus for development. It's Hydrozoa, and
let's talk about that one a little bit. I think maybe that's on a future slide here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this, because this is like, what is Scalus really used for today? that people may not know about that's really important?
Yeah, so the guy who let's say invented hydrozoids, George Swiderowski. He's an
Yeah, we've
architect.
had him on here talking about it before a little bit.
He's a known guy. He's very clever. So essentially, he found a way to simplify Hydra protocol. It's a L2 scaling solution. Everyone know, I think, to avoid many issues that Hydra and Hydra user may face.
Mhm.
May face and do face. So and he chose Scalus to develop Hydrozoa exactly because of this. Just one project, everything in one project, fast iteration. So they started not knowing Scala because they came from Haskell, I believe, from Haskell experience. So and they adopted Scala. They learned it very quickly. And in just 2 months, implemented a proof of concept, like happy path, proof of concept, and now they are finished the smart contract development for rule-based regime in Hydrozoa, which it's very impressive. We were we were surprised
Incredible.
how fast it was.
Yeah, at some point of time they came like saying, yeah, it seems like we finished end-to-end protocol, and we were like, all right, good for you.
That was fast. Yeah. So for the guys, essentially we implemented the large subset of Cardano ledger rules for transaction validation, again in a multi-platform way. So the idea is to use a subset of Cardano ledger rules for the L2 ledger,
Right.
because they speed up by slightly simplifying the ledger rules, so that they are integrating this, and we plan to reuse this framework and rules for Midgard. That's another project we are about to use Scalus for. Yeah, so essentially we want to, so we have this ability with our ledger rules implementation. First of all, change those according to your needs. So you can set up your Hydrozoa or eventually Midgard with ledger rules changed to your
If you
application.
want lower fees, if you want
Absolutely.
whatever, you can do there. Yeah.
Yes. And also, you can use this as L1 rules as well. That would mean potentially that let's start with testing. So you can use those ledger rules to test your transaction not against a real node, not go to real node, not communicate, but rather use it locally, and that speeds up tests like 100 times. So
Right.
from running tests for several hours to seconds or minutes.
No, that's
Yeah.
great. So you can run those full blockchain tests without having a real node there. You're just hitting these ledger rules to make sure everything validates. And no, that's really
Yeah,
good.
it's kind of when you build the application, you are thinking about various levels or different levels of testing. So you start with unit testing around your components, and at some point of time, you need to verify that transactions are playing well with the smart contracts and protocol that you develop. So one of the ways to do it is to use the test net. So you actually like involving the network components and the node, real node, to actually validate that the transactions are correct. But when you are running, for example, a set of hundreds, 400, 500 tests, like end-to-end tests, you face this duration thing. So you are in the development process, you are kind of slowed down, so you're not able to execute it after every commit or after every release and stuff. So you need to like you can do it after the release, but after every commit. So you're slowing down your continuous integration. With implementing the phase one into our framework, you actually just rely on the implementation of ledger rules that exist in our platform. So you are just able to like launch those tests and decrease it from hours to seconds. So it's another angle of how our platform is addressing this productivity question.
Right.
So essentially,
that's an area I struggle with right now, because it's like I do unit tests, but then I have to like spin up, connect to the test net, and then usually I end up writing more tests, but then I'll just like disable them, because the minute I push them out to GitHub, then they'll fail out there because I don't have the nodes or whatever. But this is like kind of that middle ground where I could spin up that whole test environment to do some of those more integration type tests.
It's actually also exportable to JavaScript. So if you want to do as well something similar, but in your transaction builder, for example, I don't know, Lucid Evolution and stuff, you can do it.
Yes, and we plan to integrate with Lucid Evolution, for example. Exactly for these purposes. So basically, the idea is that you can set up like several levels of tests. Like highest level, let's say, is going to be pre-prod, right? So you run against a real network, but it's going to be slow. It's going to be not fast. Then you can use like a middle ground. You can use Yassi Dev Kit, another great project from our friend
a couple weeks ago.
Satya. That's going to be faster, but still it's a real node, real block time. Even it's a second, it's gonna take some time. And then you can use Scalus ledger rules, and it's gonna be milliseconds. So ideally, that's this test setup that we essentially that is what we do in our Scalus starter kit. So you have a unit test. You have Yassi Dev Kit set up, and then you can do a pre-prod setup as well.
And again, that's part of that power of, because you guys are on the JVM, other teams like the Yassi team that are also on the JVM, there's a lot of good synergy between that.
Absolutely,
that's what I love about this.
Absolutely, and I wanted to mention this as well, because the Satya, the guy behind Yassi, he also is an author of Cardano Client Lib. It's a JVM transaction building library which a lot of JVM projects use. And
we talked to him a couple of weeks ago. He was on the channel, and we learned all about that stuff.
Awesome. He's very, very nice guy. So, and we have an integration with Cardano Client Lib. So Cardano Client Lib can use Scalus for transaction execution budget calculation and as a result fee calculation. So you don't need to send your transaction to Ogmios or Blockfrost. You can calculate it locally. And we believe Cardano Foundation use it in their projects, this integration. So again, JVM reuse libraries. This works.
Yeah, so let's pivot a little bit. Let's talk about what you guys are working on coming up. I know you guys have finished out. You've kind of bootstrapped yourself off of Catalyst. Where are we going now with? You guys have a treasury withdrawal up. Let's talk a little bit about that. How the community can support you so that we can get all these cool things, get the L2s solid. Let's just move on to talking about that a little bit.
Maybe I'll speak about the history. So we were supported by Catalyst in 2 rounds. to build core components for Scalus platform. So first of all, it was smart contracts and Pluto's CVM. Later on, the one with multi-platform support, so we can export Scalus as a multi-platform library to JavaScript and JVM. And also in the one of the next rounds, we received the support for transaction builder. So we were building all those components, and at some point of time, we asked ourselves, what is the good moment for us to actually verify that it's actually needed by somebody, by projects or businesses. So in the beginning of this year, we started the early adoption program, and we showcased the platform to two businesses and to one lab as ours, so to Anastasia Labs, and that actually resulted in two collaborations, one on Hydrozoa and another one which is upcoming with Midgard. And since the Hydrozoa integration started, not integration, but collaboration started very early in the year, so it was a very interesting moment when we were actively developing Scalus, and Hydrozoa was giving us this kind of very iterative feedback, like every day, every week, they were giving us the ideas, okay, we need to improve this part, or we need to have this capability. So for example, ledger rules, at some point of time, they said, yeah, we will start building the custom ledger for L2, for Hydrozoa, and we need a way how we can interact with ledger rules. So we were developing this part in parallel, and it was funny is that like we are working in trunk-based development format, so we're committing to master. So they were able to receive the snapshots after every commit, so they were able to actually take the snapshot of every new version and profit from everything that was developed. So it was like really iterative, but two companies working together. And it was very encouraging,
awesome.
and I think it was kind of interesting way to work together. We enjoyed it a lot. But on the other side, we said to ourselves, okay, so we're receiving this user feedback from early adoption, and we were like wondering how we can support our users actually, and on the other side maintain what we have built. And that was the exact moment when there was this constitution thing, and then as well treasury budget process started. So we set ourselves that probably it's a good idea after having bootstrapped our platform in Catalyst, receive some kind of, we provided an idea of roadmap, what we want to build into the platform, and we are seeking for support from the community to actually make a more massive adoption. Because after Catalyst, we were having some funds like our own to invest into helping others using it, but we understood that budget is actually for the tools that are used and needed would provide this funding. So we engage into this process.
No,
So
I think that's exactly what the treasury funding really should be for. It's like, Catalyst is for bootstrapping, testing ideas, seeing if they work. You guys have kind of already graduated out of that project, and now it's time for let's scale this up. We've already got a team here that's got a track record of delivering, and so that's really where we need to say, okay, let's pour into that team, let's grow this up, and get it out to the world.
Well, I think it's something that yesterday we had a great conversation at this development experience panel, and I think Phil said that at some point of time we should consider some of the tooling being part of the core. So like we can speak about Aiken, we can speak about Rust infrastructure, and hopefully we can speak as well about because Haskell is already considered core, so it is supported partially, and there's still MLabs doing some Plutarch support and stuff. So what we're actually aiming for with the budget proposal is two things. Is on one side continue building the platform towards our vision. and the vision is to have a platform which has everything you need to build on Cardano in one place. So basically, you're a business or R&D lab, you open the package and you have everything in it.
And also, not only Scalus, you have packaged also Hydrozoa, for example. So you can run your business application if it requires scaling, and if you're fine, if your business would work on state channels L2, you have it out of the box essentially.
Yeah.
So,
so this is we have this roadmap where we at first stage want to support the more global, like more bigger adoption. So we are working on templates and providing better documentation, some kind of guidelines for people to start. Then we want to continue working on off-chain libraries, but also build the advanced optimizations. So when we're speaking about smart contracts, for example, we can build just basic smart contracts, but also when you are running very optimized businesses, you need to have this kind of super advanced optimizations to reduce the costs or sizes. So we want to continue working on this. But also at the end of this roadmap that we suggested, we want as well to speed up this part with interacting with the nodes. So Yassi Dev2 comes as a first candidate, but also since we will be working on Hydrozoa and Midgard backends part, we can also leverage this development to kind of build this kind of node component available for businesses to start independently from the protocols. And one of the ideas behind it is that we can have L2 and L1 blockchain layers interacting with each other and having this information that coming from those services in one process. So you actually can just launch the process in Scala or JVM and just work with both layers. So this is the first part, and the second part is, of course, doing maintenance and iterative improvement from feedback. Where we have this early adoption club with whom we would like to start working so they can provide us feedback. And Hydrozoa is the form of this early adoption feedback source, where we were really learning from them what is needed and what is important at this point. So we have I think at least 1/3 of our budget previews for this rapid iterative improvement. And I also want to mention, we were speaking about Hydrozoa, and it's an example of the protocol that built end-to-end with the platform. When we're speaking about Midgard, it's a bit different, since the protocol was built with Aiken, so smart contracts and fraud proofs are developed in Aiken and Plutarch. Scalus would be used as a backend. So if we return to the previous slide, it's actually this part. So it will act as the Scalus platform would be used for a block producing node and related infrastructure. And
so basically, we are agnostic. We are agnostic to smart contracts. We have this functionality. We can use it. But if you don't want to, you can.
You can just take pieces of it. Yeah.
Or if you already prototyped your smart contracts to understand the feasibility of things, and you got this audited, you can just simply, as a blueprint, activate it and import it and use it from the platform. Maybe once we're on this slide, I wanted to speak about a couple of interesting features that we'll be building while working on Midgard backend. So Alex already mentioned this accelerated testing framework, which is behind the off-chain, but also maybe you can speak about this traces thing, Alex.
Yeah. For Midgard, one of the super important part of it is it's an optimistic rollup, so you need to provide being able to produce a fraud proof. And one of the probably more complex fraud proofs are the fraud during the Pluto script evaluation. So that would need a commitment to a Pluto's execution trace, and we will use Scalus to provide these traces because we have implementation of Plutus VM, and we can produce these traces to produce the fraud proofs.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this is a couple of words about our withdrawal proposal, and we're really like we participated in the process. It was I think it was long, but it was, I think, necessary for all of us to learn about on-chain governance, and we going through all this different things that we need to find out on the way. We were happy to participate in it as it's kind of first time we have this experience on Cardano. So even though it was a bit difficult, it's still very enriching and I think encouraging for all of us.
So where can people find out more about this governance proposal, governance action?
We can maybe drop a link. I have this QR code. I don't know if it's a helpful thing, but you can find our proposal in GovTools. There is also Tempo voting platform, which is used, I know, by DRAPs. Any of those. And if you have like any problem finding it, like do not hesitate to reach out, and we'll provide the link.
Okay.
So if you support JVM dev tooling, scaling, L2s, please vote.
Alarm, vote yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we discussed this. And maybe it's worth mentioning because we must admit that finance and fintech sectors are dominated by GVM languages, and we need to open the door for mainstream adoption for Cardano in finances. So I think Scalus is a good way to address this. But also, I think we do not speak about this a lot, but in Cardano ecosystem, we have a lot of projects who are using GVM. So we can start from Cardano Foundation, who are using it for a lot of their products. Like recently, they released Reeve, which is written in Java. Then we have, I know you had Raul, I think, last week from Fluid Tokens. The Aquarium node is built in Java. Yourself, you participate in those beautiful projects written in Kotlin. So,
Moneta is all Kotlin Java, and Noom is all Kotlin Java. No, it's definitely, like you said, the enterprise level language, just because there's such a huge history of time of people working with Java. So.
Yeah, and what Scalus can do for people who prefer those languages, you can just use it as interoperable library. So you can continue building on Kotlin and just use Scalus as a language, as a library to interact with everything we discussed previously. So that's the beauty of GVM that we have. Yeah. So Scalus. Improving dev experience, improving productivity, opening the doors to mainstream development, and we're really happy that L2 like Hydrozoa and Midgard actually decided to use our platform to support them at least a backend part for Midgard and as the wall solution for Hydrozoa. So we're happy not only contributing to dev experience, but also somehow being involved into scaling challenges that we have in Cardano.
Which is what's cool as well is that we when we started company, we discussed what were we focusing on, what were we gonna do, and one of these we have three things: like dev experience, scaling, and bridging to other ecosystems. Like we are lucky to be involved in all of those.
Excellent, and that's a good place for us to kind of wrap it up. I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. A lot of people may not have heard about you yet, and I'm glad they have and learned like learned about some of these companies like yours that are kind of maybe not talked about as much, but you're kind of holding up the whole next generation of what's going to come to Cardano. And I think that's amazing and great. So everybody should check out your proposal, vote on it if you're a D-Rep, or talk to your D-Rep about it. And again, thank you guys for joining us. And with that,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us, Andrew.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got to say the words, nerd out.
Nerd out.